So in light of some entitled attitudes that are being demonstrated by certain people online, I see people exhibiting some unreasonable expectations when it comes to joining through the 09 Mic program. And by the end of this video, I will share with you a rant, and if the shoe fits, wear it, and if it doesn't, great. But hopefully you don't get offended because it is being said with love and it does need to be said, okay? Before we get into that little tangent though, I want to discuss with you some of these 09 Mic updates that came out that you should be aware of. And if you're not, now you are. And some of you who have heard of it are either A, scared, or B, confused, or C, a combination of thereof. The 09 Mic program is suspended until further notice. And yes, you just heard that right. Suspended until further notice. And you probably have some questions, and rightfully so. Like, should you stop processing? Why is it closed? Is it coming back? What should I do in the meantime? And what should I expect? And these are all valid questions. Let me explain. But first, real quick, my name is Louis Swartz, and I help thousands of people just like you every day make better decisions throughout the joining process, get better prepared for basic training, recruiting, and other related topics. So if you like what you hear, subscribe. Now back to the video. Before I get into the meat and potatoes of this video, allow me to quickly get you up to speed on some of the general knowledge to add better context to what I'm putting down so that you can pick it up, starting with the ASVAB test categories. Depending on what you score in the ASVAB, which is the entrance exam, the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery Test, where the normal joining score required to be able to pass, to be able to sign a contract, is a 31 or better. It's a 31 percentile. Now, depending on what you score on the test, will put you in a bracket from a range of scores. For example, the 09 Mic program is for Cat 4s. Cat 4, or CAT, stands for category. Category 4 scores between a 16 and a 30. The next bracket above that is considered a Cat 3 Bravo, or Cat 3B. In that category, scores between a 31 and a 49. Okay? So hopefully you're picking up what I'm putting down here. Cat 4s is one option, Cat 4 option. I'll link videos down below so you can check them out. There's a flurry program called the Foreign Language Recruiting Initiative, where English is not their primary language, it's their second language. And now we have the 09 Mic program, where unlike the Cat 4 option, where you just join as is, providing that you qualify for an MOS, this program, the 09 Mic program, will teach you so that you can pass a test on your own, scoring at 31 or better, and or obviously lose some body fat. So, all right, so now let's talk about regulations or the DoD policy or what have you, all right? By DoD policy, we're not allowed to exceed 2 or 4% of the total pool of people joining for that fiscal year in the Army, meaning that for the active component, the Army Reserve, and the Army National Guard, we cannot exceed 2% or 4% of our total people who are joining. So unlike calendar years as civilians going from January through December, we go through fiscal years, or fiscal year, meaning that October 1 through the end of September is our year. That's how we go throughout the military. So by the end of September, we have to meet our end strength goals. So for example, let's say the Army's goal is 50,000 new recruits this year. Of that 50,000, by DoD policy, Department of Defense, we cannot exceed 4% of that total 50,000 person pool, providing that we actually put in 50,000 people. We have to end of the year meet that goal, right? So if we go over 50,000, then we can put more people in, if that makes sense, right? So the 09 Mic program has a certain amount of seats for the active component, the reserve, and the National Guard. Currently, at the time of this recording, the Army Reserve and the Army National Guard has completely exhausted all of our allocations or training seats for the 09 Mic program. Based on data, the 09 Mic program has an average success rate of 86 to 98%. So with that data, they've projected a certain amount of training seats in line with that data so that we can end the year with not exceeding that 4% cap, if that makes sense. Active duty currently still has 09 mic seats available. But again, the reserve and guard is closed until further notice, until October 1st, when that begins the new fiscal year for us. So after October 1st is when we're projecting the 09 mic program coming back to the guard and reserve and active duty at that time. So if you're on the fence about joining and you qualify for the 09 mic program and you want to go regular Army or full time, active duty is the option that you should go, and they have the seats now. So take those seats before they too are gone. Okay. So what should you do and what to expect? So like I said, both the guard and reserve is closed. Active duty is right behind us on our heels, and it will not reopen until October 1st or later. But in the meantime, I need you to continue to study. Study like your life depends on it. If this is something we'll talk about interested versus commitment later, but get yourself pre-qualified. Knock out the medical exam, test twice if you need to, and conduct and complete all waivers, whether you require a medical waiver, moral waiver, age waiver, tattoo exception to the policy, and so on and so forth. Get all those things knocked out so that if and when a 09 mic slot becomes available before now and the end of this fiscal year, which is September of 2024, you got to be ready to rock and roll. It's first come, first serve basis. So I anticipate, like it did last year, because of all the slots being taken up now, that for whatever the reason may be, people that are currently having ship dates before the end of this fiscal year, if they drop out by either quitting and deciding not to ship and canceling their ship date, or their ship date gets canceled because they got a law violation, they did something stupid, they got injured, whatever the reason be, that slot will become available. And again, based on a first come, first serve basis, you'll be able to backfill their slot. That's why it's very important for you to get pre-qualified. Hopefully you're picking up what I'm putting down. But in the meantime, like I said, study, study, study. Even if you signed up for the 09 mic program, you should still actively be working on losing body fat before you leave. And you should be studying. My strategy I suggest to you is you're going to study twice a day. For 30 to 60 minutes in the morning, you're going to continue to study your math and your arithmetic. And then in the afternoons or evenings, you're going to read through the mechanics, shop, and electronics in the ASVAB book that you can get for free at the local library. That way, when you go through the 09 mic program, while they're focused on word knowledge, paragraph comprehension, and arithmetic, between now and the time you finally leave, you're brushing up on the skills portion of the ASVAB. So not only will you pass the ASVAB at the 09 mic program, but you're also going to increase your line scores to qualify for more jobs in the end. So not only are you going to meet the criteria of joining of scoring at 31 or better, but you're going to put yourself in a better position to qualify for more jobs in the end. So let's talk about commitment versus interested. If you're interested in something, you may find an excuse because you're not committed. Interested is if you feel like doing it, if you feel motivated, then you'll go and do that thing. But if you're committed, it doesn't matter if you're tired, hungry, sleepy, whatever, right? You're gonna make it happen. That's commitment. You will find and make the time to make it happen. And what makes this happen is if you have self-discipline and you don't rely on motivation. Motivation is, what's the word I'm looking for? Fleeting. Woo! So it is fleeting, but having self-discipline doesn't matter if you're tired, you're hungry, you're busy, you make it happen. Why? Because you know that goals that you're trying to go for is extremely important to you. So consistency is key, and daily self-discipline wins every single time. So make it happen. Now, time for my rant. Ugh. So by the end of this, I'm going to end it on a positive note, okay? I promise. But some of y'all are acting super entitled and wanting everything on a poo-poo platter and then some. And I promise to keep this as brief as possible, but I need to say this to get it off my chest because it needs to be said, okay? If you don't score a 31 or better or meet the body fat standards to join and meet the normal eligibility requirements, for a lack of a better phrase, beggars can't be choosers. You are ineligible, not qualified to join. You're not special. Going through the 09 MITE program or the Flurry program or the Cat 4 option, these are all exceptions to the rule, but they are not the rule, and it does not make you special. You are an unqualified applicant, and the US Army and the US Navy, who has the 09 MITE program, have to spend a lot of money to teach you basic math and English skills that you should have learned over the last 10 to 12 years, depending if you dropped out of high school or not, but 10 to 12 years, let's just say 12 years of your life. And we have to get you right. And the amount of comments that I see of people complaining about the 09 MITE program and how they can't get certain jobs or certain incentives based on the current rules is straight wild to me. I just don't get it. Like I said, beggars can't be choosers. You're unqualified, period. This sounds harsh and it's probably offensive, but it doesn't take away the fact that it's still true. And I'm saying this with love, okay? Because it frustrates me. Because I know you want to get part of this and you want to get in and you're just frustrated and you don't know where to redirect it. But change your mentality, please. You had 12 years to get it right. Now we have to pay millions of dollars to get you to get right. So let's talk about some of the pros and cons, because this is why I get frustrated. Because if you don't know, when you go 09 MITE for the ASVAB, you don't get MOS of choice. And that this is a con, but it's also a pro. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. So when you go for the ASVAB improvement, the intent is to score 31 or better so that you meet the normal eligibility requirements. So the con is you may not, more than likely not, get your top choice before leaving. So have some dialogue, have that conversation with your recruiter before you leave based on your current line scores. More than likely, they're consistent or will improve while you're there. So have an idea of what you're already pre-qualified for. So if one of those options is offered to you and you have to decide within those 5 minutes, you can quickly choose the one that you want. But you might have to settle for something a little less exciting just to get your foot in the door and do the minimum contractual obligation. For Guard and Reserve, it's 3 years. Active duty is, I'm not sure, but for the Guard, it's 3 years, okay? Unless the MOS you choose has a very long training period, then that will require a 6-year commitment. And if you go for an incentive and at least the National Guard, like a bonus, if you qualify for it and it comes with it, then you got to do 6 years for that. But that's neither here nor there. So even though you more than likely won't get MOS or job of choice, the upside to this is you scored, let's say a 20 or even a 16, and you were authorized to join through the 09 MITE program. And your line scores were mediocre. You barely qualified for anything. The upside is most people score 20 points or higher on their retest at the 09 MITE program, and their line scores increase. So yes, you might have to choose something a little less exciting, but later on, when you renegotiate your re-enlistment or extension to stay in the Army in either component of the Army, whether it be regular Army full-time or Guard and Reserve part-time, you now have and will have more opportunities at your fingertips, because now your line scores and your overall score, but not so much your overall score, but your line scores are going to be higher. And for many of you who are joining as a green card holder, at the end of your initial contract, you're now going to be a US citizen, because by the time you graduate from basic training, no later than your AIT, Advanced Individual Training, or OSUT, One Station Unit Training for you combat Rambo wannabes, you're going to be a US citizen. So you're going to be a US citizen and you're going to have better scores to qualify for more jobs and more opportunities. That's the upside to the 09 MITE program. So yes, it's a dub that you might not get in your first contract, the job of choice, but you're not going to be stuck in that job for the rest of your career. I have 3 MOSs. I started as a 42 Alpha human resources specialist, which over 23 years ago, that was a 71 Lima as an administrative assistant, but in modern times, it's 42 Alpha. I'm also at that time, a 21 Foxtrot crane operator as an engineer, which is now a 12 November due to my MOS, which is a general construction equipment operator, something along those lines. And I'm also a 79 Tango, a recruiting and retention NCO in the Army National Guard. And I'm also drill sergeant qualified. All right, so I have the SQI for that. So with the skill identifier for that. The world is your oyster. What you put into this opportunity is what you get out of it. Now I'm gonna link down below 3 videos that will help you on your math and your arithmetic. I think it's from Kofax something or other. And I'm also gonna suggest to you 2 YouTube ASVAB themed channels, which a lot of people are saying they're scoring 20 to 40 points or higher just through his free videos. I also have a fat loss guide leveraging where I share my personal experience that may work for you. It's super wicked effective. And the more disciplined and strict you are with that, the faster the fat melts off. Leveraging the ketogenic low carb diet, implementing a caloric deficit, intermittent fasting, drinking a gallon or more of water per day, and walking 1 to 2 hours a day. And that's all you need to do. And in 2.5, 3 months, at the end of the 4 months in total was 32 plus pounds that I lost. But I lost 25 to 28 pounds in the first 2.5 months, whatever I said in the video. It's been a while since I've done that strategy, but it's very dumb effective. Right now, the mentality is let me get my foot in the door, work on getting a better opportunity later. And this is gonna be a stepping stone to get to the next option or the next opportunity. Do it on your own time. No excuses. Get it out of your head. I don't have time. I'm tired. Life is lifing. I have no money for a tutor or for a personal trainer. You can do it on your own. I'm giving you all the tools down below. So whether or not you signed up or waiting to sign up to the 09 Mite program, take charge of your future and put forth real effort, not perceived effort. Oh my God, I'm working so hard. I've been at this for 3 hours, but you effectively maybe only studied 45 minutes. And then the other pro of the 09 Mite program is you're literally getting paid to work out and learn to get yourself qualified to join the military, all right? Don't let the 09 Mite program deter you. But if you feel strongly about not using the program, then the ball is in your court. Do the work. However, in my 20 years of experience as a recruiter, you'll lose motivation, you'll fall off, and I cannot recommend the 09 Mite program enough for you if and when it becomes available. If you think I was too harsh, let me know down below. If it hits home and it motivates you or inspires you to do better, because that's the goal, I want you to succeed. I want you to win. So let's talk about it. I'll see you in the comments. Team Swartz, signing out.